Welcome back to Shadows Over Loathing. Feels good to be back on schedule. Something that I haven't tried in quite some time that it recurred to me is time to maybe revisit is if I have the right skills or checks or what have you to do the chess. And now I'm seeing here that all I needed all this time was cold armor? Is that literally all it was? I would have assumed that I would have required way crazy 9 mysticality or something. Is that all that I was barring me from doing this? Take that! Jessica arrows her eyes. Nice move. Jessica moves a pawn. How do you respond? Jadooba Knight. Well, I'm immediately stuck. I apparently need numerous armors in order to do anything. Oh, okay, but not necessarily. I probably should have loaded up on armors though before getting into this. Dang it. She moves her knight and captures one of your rooks. The Shivering King trick. She furrows her brow. Bah! She moves a queen. I incinerate a queen. Nice move. Ooh, I don't have the stench armor, the king who dealt it technique. I will reposition a king. She moves her queen. I don't have spooky armor right now. Advance a pawn. She suppresses a laugh. Develop one of my bishops? I'm guessing I basically just need to get as much armor on me as possible. Let's see what we can do with that. It was all of the elemental armors. Regular armor didn't seem to matter. So if I put on some spooky armor and some sleaze armor, then that should go a real long ways. This is providing 1 spooky, which isn't great. I bet I could do better than that. I have a bit of stench there. I'm looking for anything with 2 to 3 of any armor. That's going to be stench armor wins out on that one. I doubt any of these provide armor. Nope, not going to be a thing. None of these are things you do in battle. So again, the unpleasant hymnal, no. Deals spooky damage, same as everything else. This though, surely I'll have an armor in one of those. There's a ton of stench. Spooky, I'll go spooky because I already have a bit of stench armor already equipped. That, I don't think any of those provided armor. Hot and sleaze. Ooh. That's probably the way to go. I don't think anything has 2 of any armor, so that's definitely going to make a difference. And then overall, honestly, not as much as I thought. But I could immediately go swap out my booze. I'm going to see what of that I can get going here. Because there's probably something. Only physical armor. Dang. Alright, exactly the thing that I didn't really think that I wanted. I don't really want to eat food or potions for this. Assuming I still have a really good potion. I do still have a really good potion. The food I am less worried about. But we'll see. We'll see if we can do it here. I still don't have enough sleaze. Skewer a rook. I'm guessing there's something like 10 sequences and you have to pass 7 of them. I bet it's something like that. Frozen rook technique. Scorched pawn defense. The rook's toilet I cannot do. The shivering queen ploy. Smelly pawn maneuver, can't do that one. Ghost knight riposte, can't do that one. Oh no, they require some pretty heavy checks. Everything kind of needs to be up around 5 to make it through. So, can I raise my spooky stench? Oh, my sleaze. Do you know my sleaze is abysmal? Just not that rough and tumble of a guy, I guess. That's tougher than I would have expected, actually. So let me see if I boosted sleaze armor, can I possibly add enough? The accessory, I already have spooky coming off of that one. Maybe I'm spending too much time on this whole path here, and I should be worrying about other things. See, spooky armor by 5. So if I do something like that, I'm going to play around with my food. I'll eat the haunted croutons and replace the limber. You chomp down the croutons. Instead of making crunching noises, they make unearthly wails. Crouton haunted. didn't even see a joke in there. That's just a descriptor. If you think about it, all croutons are the ghosts of bread. And you do think about it. And you shudder. Ooh. Ooh. Spooky was one of the ones I already had raised up. Whoops, potentially, but I can trade out the spooky armor locket. There's no longer something that I really need. Sleaze and stench, more important right now. Let me go stench, because I don't think I have enough to raise the sleaze as much as I would need to. Accessory, ooh, big one there. To the point that I could swap this out to something different if that option will present itself. Hot armor, add spooky armor to a hat. Stench armor I have. Hot, spooky. Not that well-rounded, am I? Spooky and stench I'm not too worried about. The stench I could trade off for like one more hot. That I think would work. And that was an option here. Physical and hot. Alright, that's a nice variety. I got 3 of them above 5 there. So maybe that's enough. Spooky armor. The old Queen in the Snow maneuver. The Ghost Queen maneuver. Incinerate a bishop. Ooh, that requires a bit too much. Can't get away with that. The Rook's toilet trick. It's requiring higher and higher checks here, actually, now that I'm doing better. So maybe you need this stuff, like, way the hell up. Oh, see, now they've crossed over to a point where I am going to lose anyway. You need, like, all of your armors up at, like, 7. This is dragging on much longer this time around. It definitely, like, pushed it further along. So now I have to start debating. I don't really want to overwrite the potion. Dang, it really felt like that it was time. It was time to be done with it, push things along, and no, it's a long ass way to go, I guess. Chaotic rings, super funny. Is it the friendship ring? I think it was the friendship ring that I had most recently. And the greasy things I've added a bunch of stuff to. Yes, I will keep all of that. I forget what I have going on that makes my feet make like accordion sounds. Is that coming off of the flip-flops? Because that is a little... It doesn't make a ton of sense. I'll tell you that much. Seems ridiculous. Okay. I think I can wander off to some of my classes. Was chemicals the first I chose? Let's head over to our chemical class. You okay, Molly? You've gone 5 whole minutes without saying a word. Oh, that's unexpected. Where'd you find the book? That's unexpected? Oh, huh? Oh, on a bench somewheres. It's pretty interesting. What are we talking about? She's just excited about the book she's reading? Applied ballistics. You think we'll be needing to throw a 90-kilogram projectile over 300 meters? Because there's a real juicy diagram in here. Look! Gee, Molly, you could be the girl that revolutionizes gang warfare. Except the opposite of revolutionize. So just stay in your lane forever and never change anything? Wow. Very sparkly, very clean. Welcome to the SIT Chemicals Department. You may be interested to know that this entire building is made of solid copper, which the Federal Treasury donated to SIT because they couldn't think of a use for it. It's true, copper, very traditionally useless. Nothing good to come out of that. See, when I do that, when I purposely glitch out my walking, you can hear it a lot more. So if I just put the foot gloves on or something. Oh, but then it claps around. Yeah, so it's absolutely just coming from the shoes I'm wearing. Let's go back to crab walking. Haven't crab walked in a while, and that was fun. This perfect sphere is carved from Mother Nature's favorite chemical, a rock. Broken it down into its most basic components. A steam-powered lamppost. We truly live in the future. That's like more complex than I think it needs to be. Can't even look at any of those. Molly, what do you think of chemicals? Nope, just talking about kids being on break. Nothing really new. inside the chemicals building. A bronze statue, the plaque reads in honor of Dr. Ambrose Adams, founder of the chemicals department. And he's the one who disappeared based on a statue-related incident. And so I'm about 97% sure he just turned himself into a statue. He accidentally bronzed himself, maybe in pursuit of some sort of Ambrose Adams' alchemy. The sign says, leave a chemical, take a chemical, make a swap. What do you want to take? Ooh, there's all sorts of things in here. Anything that I haven't already seen before. I think I've basically seen them all. You change your mind about the whole chemical process. There's all these little intercoms everywhere. Only 88 of the boxes on this chart have been filled in. Is that actually true? Is that recent? How that, like, in the 20s, 100 years ago, we only had 88 elements? But they knew that. I think that was the thing, is that they knew how many elements there should be, just based on, like, projections of stable isotopes and things. It's like, well, we know that these theoretically could all exist. It's a laboratory workbench. I'm holding a lot of stuff right now, and this is really useful, actually, that I could swap out my sorted grease for something and potentially make off with much, much better. These are big deals. Lots of armors, none that add to multiple elements, which is what I would want for the chest. Stinking salts, aqua mortis, so just like dead water, triple distilled lipids, nuclear tincture, anabolic agonist, the self-boiling solution, and non-Newtonian lotion. I will make none of those, but there's some interesting options. The door to the chemistry classroom, where I can talk to Athena. Student ID, Grammy of the Valley identified. Access to this doorway is limited to students and faculty in the chemicals department. That's me. Authorization verified, access granted. Thanks. You hear a thump as the door's internal lock disengages. Oh, we have a little goblin professor here, and everything's so sparkly and coppery. The professor is checking over some really complicated looking chemical formulas. Formulae? I also want to see if I can rummage around in this box there. I guess not. This is just scenery right now, until I learn more about it. I thought maybe it was weirdly hobo code, that there was some sort of, like, gag that was going to pay off there, that all these hobos are, like, deeply educated as, like, chemical engineers. You don't know what any of this equipment is for. Looks old, though. This book is pretty ancient. The pages are made of vellum. Flip through it. The book is titled A Complete and Practical Guide to the Various Alchemical Substances and Their Properties. Although there's a thing going on there with, like, a little F-y looking symbol instead of an S, and I'm guessing that's a joke, because it's being used a few times. Is that a clue? And their properties for the use of students in a classroom setting. Unfortunately, the pages are so old and stiff, you can't even turn them. Well, shucks. Alright, tell me what's what. Professor? Oh, hello! How can Professor Gilbert to helping you? Is it formulas or formulae? Formulae! Was that the only question to having? Oh, no, I'm also supposed to be taking a class here. Aha, good, yes. Very exciting with a new student to having. So much chemicals will Professor Gilbert to teaching you. Great, where do I start? The professor digs around in a box under his desk and pulls out a large lump of yellow crystals. Man, I wanted to rummage in that box so bad I got denied. Near to looking at it, to knowing which element this is, are you? Well, from the color, I'm guessing sulfur? Haha, yes! You to knowing a thing already. It's good. Thanks. Sulfur is diamagnetic, or orthorhombic. Orthorhombic? Wow. I took organic chemistry, and I didn't do great in it. I struggled in that class a little bit, but that word's nothing to me. Also, multivalent and an elemental macronutrient. Should I be writing this down? Here, an experiment to doing with it. You got a chunk of sulfur, a fist-sized chunk of sulfur. It's yellow and crumbly and smells like rotten eggs, and you're annoyed with the guy who's making you carry it around. An experiment? To throwing it in the river, and back to coming with telling me the observation. The Sit River Bridge. Back to... Oh, okay, got it, I think. That's it's pretty straightforward, weirdly straightforward task. I guess we head on over to the bridge and just yoss her in. Walking down a hallway in SIT's math department, you pass a chalkboard with a bunch of complicated math scribbled on it with a circle drawn around that and a note, "Do not erase." Feeling waggish and rebellious, you erase just the circle. Unfortunately, it turns out that the circle was keeping the math on the chalkboard, and it all flies off to attack you. I may have said, fortunately, I could fight it or just solve the equations. I'm a little bit curious to see the fight in action, so we'll check on it. A fraction cloud, we have a prime mover, and an algebra vortex. Raises allies' stats, intends to set all combatant stats to random prime numbers, and reduce HP by a third. Are these math equations just gonna do insane random stuff that, like, barely even actually advances towards defeating me? They'll continuously infinitely reduce by third, never down to 0, or will it do 1/3 in damage? It's ridiculous. Loose integers, a handful of digits, and a mechanical calculator. This is a mechanical calculator as distinct from an organic calculator, which is just a person who does arithmetic for money. Reduce enemy stats and HP by your muscle. Combining the brawn and brains all in one. Wise nerds. Wow, that building is wonky. It doesn't even say. It doesn't even list it as like being... It must be an ingredient in things. It's like the only thing I can really think with that. I guess I'm just chucking this off a bridge. Do you want to talk about it? Nope. Not of any interest. I did want to just read the sign. There's something. Let's go fishing. That's something kept coming up there with blue text. I didn't know what. Radioactive tuna Scots fish. Might just need to sell that. A chemically altered trash fire cod. Wow, these are real, like, actual garbage fish, like made out of garbage. Radioactive whistling Jimmy. And that's about it. Drop in the sulfur. It's a ladder blocked by some complicated municipal contraption. A box? There's a fishing rod leaning against the railing. Maybe it was left here because something is wrong with it. This spot is all fished out. Try coming back. Cursed fishing rod. This the eldritch runes etched in the fishing rod's handle suggest a sinister provenance. Who was the fisherman who wielded this rod, and what did they use it to catch? We'll never know. I'll leave well enough alone. You drop the sulfur and watch carefully. The yellow lump hits the surface of the water with a plop and sinks. Nothing else seems to happen. Noted. Hope you took detailed enough notes there. It seems like you were way too flippant and casual about that. You wander into an empty classroom and find a blackboard covered with complex physics equations. Erase them with muscle, or erase your presence here by leaving. I was one muscle off, and I'm 43 experience away from having the muscle needed, so that should come about rather naturally in the course of things. I'm expecting just a handful of battles not too far away. Hi, hello, to going your experiment? How is it? I dropped the sulfur in the river. Yes, good. And what did it? Well, not much really. It got wet and sank. Haha, yes. Sulfur has density about twice as much as water, and non-reactive to being with a normal circumstance. They look in the box again and pull out a lump of metal with a structure of weird spiraling squares and an iridescent rainbow sheen. How about that? To knowing what this are you? Bisquick is like for making chocolate milk. Bibsmoth is, I think, nothing, and Bipsmith is, I think, also something. I think bismuth is what we're looking for, and none of those are right, so I will say Bisquick. Close, bismuth. Oh, right. This is a rhombohedral structure of crystals and is the most diamagnetic of all to being. Also, it is very much less of poisonous than other ones like it. It's very pretty. That colors from thickness variation in the oxide layer being. Here, go to the river to pudding it. I thought he would tell me to take it to different places as an excuse to explore the map. He just wants me to keep chucking things in the river? Surely the last step of this class will be a twist on that, or that everything added will come together in some unexpected way. A chunk of bismuth. This chunk of crystalline bismuth is really pretty. It's a shame to just throw it into a river, but I suppose science requires sacrifice. Yeah, you know, sometimes you just have to be prepared to lose it all. While exploring the halls of SIT, you happen upon a group of tough-looking goblins wearing backwards ball caps, slouching around insolently and watching for nerds to harass. Given that this is SIT, you'd think they'd be spoiled for choice, but apparently they've settled on you. Hey, who are there being a nerd? Who, me? A nerd? Yes, a book reader weakling you look like. This is nerd actions, not tough like a Jocklin, which is us. Jocklin, Glocklin, I'm liking that a lot. I agree. That's baloney, I'm not a nerd. I strongly object to being characterized as a nerd based solely on my appearance. The Jocklins exchange looks. Definite a nerd. Confirmed very. They stand up and approach you, cracking their knuckles. Hey, what are you doing? You are swirl your head into a toilet. That is the fate of a nerd. Well, I'll fight my way through them. Oh, it's like the full range of like school tropes. We have the Jocklin tackler, who is just literally going to tackle the snake. The cheerleader, who's going to heal all their allies and raise stats. And the football player, who's going to kick a football for 11 damage. Relatively strong, actually. Wow, I wish that more damage would have been done to the Jocklin cheerleader. That's, I guess we're going to have to leave that one. Do you know what? It's been pointed out to me that I should be using this more often, and it never really mattered that much. All of their stats will be decreased. I can't use it? Goblins can't be hypnotized. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was just thinking they have quite a bit of stats. Maybe now is like the time that I should be using this. I guess not. After all that, you're probably still the one that I should just kill. Oh, that was a hell of a tackle and a kick. Real athletes. Now they're full of bullets. So, who cares? Who's the nerd now? Goblins. Who's Troy? Is it a Troy Revenge of the Nerds reference or something? Like, I'm curious where it was going with that. The SIT sports drink. This revolting sour fluid is the product of decades of tireless work by SIT's sweat professors. Increase the damage of melee weapons by 5. A Jocklin strap. With a strappy young man, they'll say, unsure how else to react to you wearing a jock strap on the outside of your pants. Ooh, add melee damage to a pair of pants. Go full Superman. And the Jocklin football helmet. This is a thin leather hat that provides slightly more protection than a typical hairstyle. Yeah, those never really seemed like they would have done a heck of a lot, did they? I guess it's the same day. I can't fish. You drop the bismuth into the river, it goes kaplunk and sinks quite rapidly. Yeah, it'd be heavy as shit. It's actually metal. I wouldn't have expected any different. On your walk across campus, you get the nod from a disheveled rail rider with a grossly swollen bindle. Howdy, you buying? I don't know. What do you sell? Wares and such. See what he has? No thanks, I'm not in the market for wares and such. I will see. Good to hear, good to hear. Now hop on and follow me. Name's Ovid. By the by, Ovid Lobdell. I feel like maybe I've heard Lobdell elsewhere in this game already. Where's my wares, are you wondering? It's all at the store, pal. I can't carry my inventory on my back like some cargo ant. So, are you coming on or what? Why would you have a cargo ant? Ovid's store? What's in the bindle then? With a wink, he gingerly unwraps the bindle. As soon as the rope is loosened, a massive gust of wind roars out and propels the hobo in a parabolic arc to his destination. Might have been fun to do that. I guess I will follow him. Way up in the other direction there, but sure. Let's see what the hell Ovid's up to. There are a lot of beds outside, like a surprising number. and very little to interact with. There we go, a bit of a barrel blockade over here. I didn't even check. Did I use the cursed rod? Some poor student dropped their backpack in here. A waterlogged backpack. The reason this has been underwater has been lost to history. A cruel prank, disposal of evidence, avant-garde juggling mishap. In any case, some poor student's loss is your gain. Rip it right open. You open the wet bag and divest it of its somehow still dry contents. A binder clip. These are designed to hold sheaves of important grown-up documents together, but I'm sure you'll come up with some other dumb way to use it. Increase a target's stench armor by 5. Oh, it's a combat item. The sports drink and unidentified chemicals. You don't know what's in the test tube, and you also don't know how to find out. Maybe once I am a chemist, I can find out. But I also... What do I have right now for potions? I just swapped that out, I think. No, the potion's the good one, so I don't really want to risk replacing it. Not right now, at least. Oh, that was it. That was my one thing. One time to fish. Hi there, fella. Can I interest you in some quality merchandise? What kind? I don't know, just some stuff I found. Have a look. See if any of it catches your eye. Oh, this is the guy. The guy that the king was asking for. That plot was out of mind, even though I remembered the name a little bit. Teach me some oboe code. Oh, sure. Do you know the one for free bed yet? It increases. Ask about something else. What's up with all the beds? The university was getting rid of them. And finders keepers, I say. I see. Well, let me look at what you're selling. The anarchist hardware, we already have those. A combat item, baseball. The smell of fresh cut grass, the bellowing of the peanut seller, and the crack of this ball against the skull of your rival. I'll buy one for funsies. SIT used to have a gymnastics program, but they ended up dropping it because it wasn't dorky enough. Cartwheel everywhere you go. Yay! It seems fun. Will you buy these mugs for the same price? It appears to be the same. Oh, it's gonna fill his list out in a very annoying way, so let's not do that any sooner than we have to. His Majesty's least favorite poems. Somebody published a multi-volume set of every poem George V ever read in descending order of how much he liked them. This is the last book in the series, so it's just garbage, just the worst poems. You cannot imagine a less interesting book, but for $300, that's a real bargain, guys. It's the last in a series. It's the only one in the series that really matters. They get all the ending of the story without dragging things down with all the build-up. Just cut right to the chase there, no matter how crappy. The titanium staple remover. This tool is way fancier than it needs to be. An executive affectation. Remove titanium staples, if such a thing exists. It's a quest item, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that it absolutely exists. And in the meantime, I'm going to spam my way through selling all of that crap. I probably have so much else that's available to sell right now, but I'll worry about that later when I need to sell it. I'll buy that, anticipating that it will matter in the future. So, the Hobo King requests your presence. Come again? There's a hobo camp just outside of Ocean City, and the guy in charge heard you're rich in beds. He asked me to give you the official summons. Oh hey, that sounds like a good deal. Can't use more than 1 or 2 of these myself anyway. I'll head on out there, thanks. But what we gotta do is take the skinny beds and lay them side by side to make super bed. And then, be so long, it'd be notably longer. You could use like 3 beds that way. He's dreaming too small. 2? You're gonna cut yourself off at 2? Nah, man, we could make it work. Someone doesn't understand how fences are supposed to work. Well, it looked like they had made a ladder. They kind of did. It connects up there. And yeah, he did actually take all of those beds with them. Ovid has taken his beds and gone home. To his new home, that is, back at the hobo camp. Well, that sets me a ways off of what I was doing. I think I'll still head over and report my findings. Next to a trash can, you find a discarded houseplant with a little sign on it reading "Free to a Good Home." It must have been there for a while because the plant is obviously dead. You reach for the plant to examine it, and it startles you by belching out a cloud of smoky mist. The previous owner must have given it away because it was too scary, not because it was too hard to take care of. And do I not get... No, I get 5 experience for finding things. That is the skill. 5 experience from gathering and times 2 materials. That definitely came up. Oh, I almost have that muscle that I was looking for. I don't remember if handing this in earns experience or not. I dropped the bismuth in the river. Yes, and, well, it sank faster than the sulfur. This feels like I'm telling a joke in 3 parts. You know, like a sulfur, a bismuth, and a copper were dropped in the river, and the punchline is taking like half an hour to get to. Bismuth nearly to sulfur 5 times the density to having. Anything other? Not that I noticed. Yes, bismuth only when very hot in water to reacting. Good job. Professor Gilbert looks in the box again, and this time holds up a lump of silvery gray metal. That's don't not worrying, Professor Gilbert, not to guessing you this one. Practically everything a silver gray metal to being. Phew. That is being magnesium. The other one's unlike this paramagnetic a one, with hexagonal crystals close packed. Also, there is so much of it. 13% of the whole planet is that to making of. Magnesium's that common, hey? Now you have it. This looks like a rock, but a science guy has assured you that it is in fact an interesting chemical. This one is going into the river too? Yes, to watching closely. Well, I am going to run back to the hobo camp, and I want to see kind of how that story has progressed, and then we'll come back. The Tin Lizzies are flagging me down, and they just want to give me some anarchist hardware. That's so thoughtful of them. Hey, Ovid set up his shop over here. Oh hey, my messenger friend, I never caught your name. Hi Ovid, I'm Graeme. Thanks for pointing me here. Business is booming. And all of those mugs are just gone. That was an insane waste of about 500 bucks. But honestly, I feel unburdened, which is quite nice. Johnny, the king of hobos. Where are you from? Hoboken? Yes, that's right. The secret plans. I admit you've been quite helpful. You, at first, a total stranger, have gone out of your way to help hobos when the other people of this country and even the government itself would not. This is the crux of the problem. The hobos are looked down upon when not overlooked entirely. I seek to remedy this. Whoa, are you planning a revolution or something? Oh, no, nothing so violent. I intend to sidestep the problem. I should not say more. Okay. No other additional details at this time. Peculiar. I feel like I've probably talked to basically everyone at this area. Oh, there is, the shut-eye area that should now be filled with beds? Probably shouldn't mess around in here. You'll wake people. Oh, well, I'm glad they all have beds now. It seems like I thought there would be more to follow up on in that regard. What about this guy? He was like our first friend, right? No, I guess there's not much following up to be done here. Well, I guess that's closed up for now. I'm guessing we'll come back to that. And next time, I will continue my education, expanding my brain, well on my path to be right there alongside the best and brightest. Thank you all so much for watching. Pitch me some episode titles, and I'll see you again soon.